Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in games, and as always we'll start with some EVE Online. And I must say I played a little bit less than average EVE Online last week, but not by that much. The main reason I think is that I spent a little bit less time on CC to take a look at more Abyssal Dead Space dungeons. Didn't really feel like I needed that much more time on CC at this point, but one thing that I did do is take a look at the mutaplasmids there. So it's of course the RNG part that is coming to EVE Online. I do think it's gonna be pretty interesting. The potential items can become very powerful, especially when you're lucky in the fitting department for instance, a battleship afterburner that can then much more easily be fit on a cruiser or something like that. So it's going to be quite interesting. I do hope that CCP will come out with a dev blog where they detail all the different categories with the potential maximum bests at least, so that we know what we can expect. And it's something that will need to be balanced actively, I think, because eventually you will probably run into some crazy combinations. That's pretty much always the case when it comes to RNG. But I do think that things like the Scram, for instance, have a lower potential on for instance, the range increase that you can get, and at the same time something like micro drives, for instance, will probably have a lower potential as well when it comes to the fitting changes, so that you can't just, you know, that much more easily fit these oversized micro drives on smaller ships to make them super fast. So we'll see how all of that works out, but I did spend a little bit of time on TQ as well, mostly doing some exploration because I'm trying to increase my reserves for modules to use with these mutaplasmids when Into the Abyss comes out. And I've been decently successful. I haven't had to explore for too long in order to find some 3 and 4 out of 10s, and I got some faction pieces from I think all of them that I've run. Now they haven't been high value, but still I think that those pieces will have great potential, even if they're only some of the really common and the not too great pieces that have been dropping. So it's been going well in EVE Online. I've done a bit more preparation. I still need to buy my implants, and I still need to buy an armor ship and a shield ship that I want to use exclusively for the Abyss, and then pimp out with all of those modules as well. So that's still something that I need to do in the next couple of weeks, but overall I am looking forward to the expansion. Next up we have some World of Warcraft. Again here I would say a little bit less than average when it comes to how much World of Warcraft I've played. I've basically didn't play that much in general last week. I did my maintenance there. I kept up with the emissaries every single day, so that eventually you can earn another legendary item, which, you know, I still have quite a few slots that I could fill with some nice legendary items, so I do still want to keep working on that. With my follower now earning me 90 gold for every world quest, it's also an activity that I do enjoy, just to increase my gold potential for the expansion. I think I'm close to 150,000 gold at this point, and next to that, just, you know, running some battlegrounds here and there, especially when you get a quest that'll then get you some nice rewards. That's on like a weekly basis. Sometimes you also get those from your followers when you put them on missions. So there's so much to do in World of Warcraft, but I can definitely pace myself at this point, and I keep telling myself that Battle for Azeroth is not out yet. So keep it low key, don't burn yourself out at this point. That's also the reason why I didn't spend a lot of time on the beta. Again, I don't want to do a massive grind now, which I'll just have to repeat in a couple of months. So I'd rather, you know, take my time, only do the beta when I feel like it. I do think that I'll find enough time to get to a max level character and at least take a first quick look at some of the new content there, but it hasn't been last week. I just basically focused a little bit more on my live server shaman to get him some more gold. Also, I did a couple of hunts for some cool transmog items, for instance, and that's it. I'm in preparation mode for the expansion. I'm not going to go too crazy. There are things to look forward to, of course. Before the expansion itself, we will have a pre-patch, which I think can be very interesting. I think that we will lose a lot of the Legion specific powers and abilities, and that we will get the stat squish, the new talents and all of that stuff. So that's definitely a time when I will be playing a little bit more World of Warcraft as well, and that's going to be basically the run up to the expansion itself, which I also look forward to. But before all of that, we still have the EVE Online expansion as well. So I've got a pretty busy schedule when it comes to just playing EVE Online and just playing World of Warcraft, but at the moment I can just relax a little bit, which I enjoy as well. And with that said, that does mean that I have a little bit of extra time for another game to explore, and I chose Factorio. So with the extra time, I was thinking maybe I could start another Banished Town, but I've done that so often already. It's super relaxed, of course, but I was maybe looking for something new to try out, and so I chose Factorio. You can make a certain comparison between Factorio and Banished. I think both of them are sandboxy games where you build up stuff in order to reach, well, whatever goal you set yourself or the game sets for you. But in Factorio it is a lot more complex, and you do need to learn a lot of stuff there, where for Banished it's like this very slow build up. The trees of new stuff that you can make are quite limited. In Factorio it's absolutely huge, and it will take a lot of time to just, you know, wrap your head around a full gameplay, you could say. As far as I understand it, you build up machines, factories to grab resources, turn them into more and more complex things, and eventually you can try to create a rocket to get off the planet again. I think that's basically one of the main threads that you can have through one of these sandboxy games. So I'm basically nowhere in that game, but it is definitely a lot of fun, in my opinion, to try to find some cool ways to you know, extract those resources and put them into things that you want to do, and to try to progress through the pretty large, I would say, research tree that is in Factorio. I'm enjoying the game, although I must also say that if you really want to you know, understand the game and play it actively and get to end game as quickly as you can, basically you can put far more time into it, and it will demand far more time as well than I was willing to put into Factorio at this point. So I was a little bit surprised by that. Basically Factorio can be almost a full-time game as well, just like EVE Online, just like World of Warcraft. So it's going to be a very slow process, I think, for me. I'm not even sure if I'll just keep playing with the current game, because it's already my third game. I have this problem of constantly wanting to try new concepts, and then I generally want to try them from the start. So yeah, we will see how Factorio is going to evolve. It is a lot of fun for me, at least. I do like these types of games where you have to try to build stuff up, and then you see lots of stuff happening automatically, which is in the end the goal of the game, is to create processes that will run independently of yourself, and then you get an end result that you want. And that's absolutely the perfect game for that. Although I've also been watching a couple of videos just to get some ideas about what you can encounter and do with Factorio, and it's pretty damn crazy how complex and how awesome some of the people have been making their bases in Factorio. So I've got a lot to learn there, but I'm going to take my time for that as well. And that was my last week, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.